Hi, my name is Jen Collins. I am a wealth advisor and certified financial planner with River Wealth Advisors in Central Pennsylvania. I'm excited to introduce my video series, Dream.Plan.Do. In the series, we will be talking with women who will share their stories about how they turn their dreams into reality. I hope the series inspires you to turn your dream into a goal by giving it a deadline. Dream.Plan.Do. These women did, so can you. Today I'm excited to introduce Stacey Warner. Stacey owns two Goddard schools in Central PA, one in Enola and the one in Lingelstown. Thank you for joining me today, Stacey.
Thanks, Jen. I'm happy to be here.
This is such a beautiful location. I love the sun guards over the playground. That's so great.
Yeah, we put them out there just because we do have a lot of children that are fair-skinned, and it's important for their own safety and health that we keep them safe outside.
Yeah, definitely. And they love to be outside, so that's great. So Stacey, you didn't start in education. You had a pretty successful career in healthcare.
I did, and it was a far stretch to get into education, but honestly, I spent almost 25 years in the corporate world. I loved what I was doing. I was quite successful, but I got to a point where I just realized that what I was looking to get out of life was changing. The legacy that I was looking to leave was evolving over time, and I just felt like I wanted to make an impact in a different part of the community than where I was before.
Well, that's great. It's always a big step to make a huge career change, and going from healthcare to health insurance to education's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had to give advice to somebody who's looking to change careers, what would that advice be?
Wow. I would say that the first thing is that you need to do your research. Make sure that it's a career that you can see yourself in long term, because making a big switch like that is an investment. It takes quite a bit of time to really ramp up, if you will. You're building all new relationships with customers and in the community. There's a learning curve when you make a change like that, so that takes some time. And certainly just making sure that you have either the right skill sets to do it, or you're surrounding yourself with folks that do and collaborating with those kind of people. Certainly in my situation, I had the business and the operations background to run a business, but not any formal education, if you will, on the education side of things.
Right.
So I was fortunate that I had a staff of teachers, a center director, and folks that did know that piece of it, and working together as a team to make sure that we were all balancing each other out and we were all bringing our individual strengths to the table was really important in setting up the success of the school. When I first took over the school, the first thing I told the staff there is that this isn't my school, it's our school. We collectively are going to make this successful. So it was important for me to have them understand the vision, have them be on board with that, let them know that their opinions mattered, that they were an integral part of the success of our team.
Yeah, I think that's so important, that you have to get the buy-in, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
of everyone involved, especially if you're taking over a business. I would think
Mm-hmm.
that that's very important, because I know employees are probably apprehensive of change, and now what's it going to look like, and am I going to still like working here?
Yeah.
So that's great that you approached it that way with your staff, with your existing staff. When you made the change, did you have any doubters? Did you have people that said, Stacey, this is crazy, you shouldn't be doing this, why are you walking out of this cushy job, if you will, that you're great at, to walk into the unknown?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, there were some, but I would say that most people that know me I'm a risk taker, I'm a doer, I like to get things done, I love challenges, I don't sit still too long in one place. So for me, I thought it was more of an exciting thing to make the change. I was fortunate in that, in our case, part of my research was making sure that it was something that I felt I could continue to be successful at, but making sure it was the right center, not just any childcare center. Right. And my youngest son was a student there for 5 years, so we were already familiar with the Goddard School. with what they stood for, what their brand was, what the community thought of the brand in our area. So the Goddard School was a no-brainer.
Right.
My husband and I traveled to King of Prussia to meet with their senior leadership, and we walked out of there and I just knew. It was amazing what they do. They have an education advisory board. They have a lot of support areas that help us as small business owners to ensure that we're successful. So that was really important to me, so that I knew I had the support and the backing of a corporate brand that way. And I just knew that for the sake of children, for me to be involved with children was important. I was that little girl in my bedroom growing up that was pretending to be the school teacher with the chalkboard and my stuffed animals and my dolls. And so I always had a passion for young children and teaching. And this was one way for me as a grown-up now to sort of make that little girl dream come true, in a way that I felt like I was making an impact on the community. I have 2 older children. And so when my youngest was born, it was very eye-opening to just see the difference in what was going on around us. You know, the world had changed, our communities have changed, family dynamics have changed, the workplace had changed. And so a lot of the challenges that parents were facing and a lot of the stressors and influencers on young children had evolved so much over it was 17 years difference between my oldest and my youngest. So I just knew that setting that foundation for young children was going to be so important in setting them up for success down the road. I tell all of our teachers, you know, today's learners are tomorrow's leaders. And what we're doing every day makes a big difference because they are our future. So knowing that we can have that impact, that's really where my heart was, and I had that passion to have an impact on young lives like that.
Yeah, and I think the first 5 years are so vitally important to the development of children, and making sure that they have a lot of positive experiences, particularly around learning, is so important.
And not just, you know, we talk about the learning, and yes, we do teach all the academics. Our children are coming out of the Goddard School and starting primary school, and their math and their literacy is assessing 45% higher than children that don't go through a Goddard School. So we know the academic program works, but what I also stress are some other things that I think are equally important. So just the social and emotional skills. So even as adults, right? Coping skills, whether it's sharing or getting along with other people, and the social and emotional pieces of just knowing how to handle ourselves in different situations, collaborating with each other. A lot of these young children, they're already using technology and they're on devices.
Absolutely.
And that can have a significant impact on things like communication when you're doing this instead of having conversations, and collaborating, and problem solving skills. Those are things that sometimes we're too fast to jump to technology to solve for us. So we're teaching those skills at a young age so that they can foster some of these other critical life skills as well as the academics, which I think are just also very important.
Yes, I would agree. They're vitally important, especially in today's world with all the technology, like you said. And currently under the current situation with COVID and not being able to interact. And for some of these kids, the only interaction they get with other kids is at school or daycare. So it's so important that that's a good experience, and that those social skills are being reinforced.
Right. And a lot of our children too, they all come from different situations. And so I always say, if you've seen one child, you've seen one child. You know, we treat them all as individuals. They all learn at different paces. They all have their strengths and weaknesses in terms of where they excel and where they need extra help. So we really treat each child individually and kind of meet them where they are, on all those levels, socially, emotionally, academically, to ensure that they are set up for the most success possible.
Yeah, that's great. So how did COVID impact you? I mean, obviously it's been a year now since we had our shutdown, and things started reopening. So did that have a big impact for you?
Yeah, so we shut down for the initial 14 days to flatten the curve. And then we did apply for a waiver. We have a lot of essential workers that rely on us for childcare for them to be able to do their jobs. So we opened back up pretty quickly, and we were there for those essential workers until we were back in the green phase last summer. And, you know, I would say over a third of our current customers are new customers since COVID hit. Of course, with the new protocols, many of those parents have never stepped foot through the front door of the school because they drop them off outside, haven't seen their classrooms. So there's a lot of faith put in us and what we do every day to drop their little children off with us, sight unseen, with people they haven't even necessarily always met. So I think it is a good testament to what we do every day. We have amped up our communications with parents. We send home daily reports, videos, pictures. We do conference calls with parents so that they can talk to teachers, so that they're still very engaged in what's going on in their child's life during the child care.
Yeah, it's so important.
Yeah.
Because I can remember going to different events and different things for the kids, and you just can't anymore. There's no more, spring show or anything like that.
We try to live stream it so they feel like they can still be part of those types of events as best we can. So kindergarten graduation and all of those fun milestones. They do look different, but they're still important, and we still want to celebrate them.
Absolutely. It's so important, especially for the kids, to celebrate these things, because it's an accomplishment, and it should be rewarded that way and treated that way. So that's important.
And I would be remiss if I didn't also we talk about the students a lot, but really I think the heroes in all of this are the teachers. They have been troopers. They have stayed with us through this whole time. They show up every day with a smile on their face and a great attitude. They love what they do, and they love these children.
Yeah.
So next week is Teacher Appreciation Week, and we have a lot of really great things planned for them. And one of the things I love about this job is, because it's a small business, we have about 20 teachers at each location. And being able to mentor these young ladies is really, really neat to see. We've helped some of them finish their college degrees. We've supported them through that, both financially and through scheduling. We have just been there for them for different family situations. Some of them have families at home and children and husbands and spouses, and trying to balance all of that. We've had some of them that have been promoted from teachers to assistant directors to center directors, and I even had some directors that are now on-site owners for me. So being able to work with them and help mentor and coach them through that career process and give them something to look forward to in terms of a career progression is really important and key.
Yeah, I think that's great. And you probably bring a lot to the table that may not be there with other owners, because you come from a different background. Mm-hmm. And it's so important to be able to share what we know and our stories to help others, get to where they want to be and realize that things are possible.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. I love that you're mentoring the younger generation. Stacey, what advice would you give your younger self?
Wow, that's a great question. I think if I were to give advice to my younger self, I would say be self-aware, be in touch with yourself and how you're evolving as an individual and a person. I think it's important to recognize that we all continue to grow and learn as adults. And through that process, sometimes our goals change in life, our aspirations change, our values change. What makes us happy to get out of bed every morning to go to work changes. And I think to stay in tune with that and self-aware and recognize when those things are happening, so that you can make that change, if you will, if it takes you down a different path, and not just stay in a job where you're comfortable, but know that it's important to be passionate about what you're doing every day, and not be afraid to make those changes sooner, if necessary, than later.
Yeah, I think that's great advice for anybody. You don't have to go with plan A all the time. It's okay to change it, and it's okay to change your direction. That's fantastic advice.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for letting us come to your school here in Linglestown. It's absolutely beautiful out here.
Thank you.
And if you'd like to learn more about the Goddard School, please visit goddardschool.com. And for more information about River Wealth, you can visit riverwealthadvisors.com. Until next time.